the cold for Kremlin and Pearl.
Into Sheringham. History is made. Manchester United are the champions of Europe again.
Hello and welcome to This Is United podcast. I am your host Vince, and today I'm joined by Alex.
Hello.
We are literally 5-10 minutes after the Spurs game. This week we're just going to go straight in on them because
I don't think there's any point doing any player ratings, is there?
No, it's just we can do a manager rating. Oh, why don't we do a manager rating?
Also, no point. It's done, isn't it?
It's got to be gone. There's no saving that. I don't think that performance is the worst we've seen. We've played 2 games at home this season, lost 6-0 on aggregate. It's well, obviously the Fulham game, minus the Fulham game, but it's getting to a point now where it's hard to watch. It's not enjoyable. I don't see us getting better. There's no patterns of play. They can't attack. They can't defend. They can't score goals. They can't tackle. I felt sorry for Onana today. I thought it was very, very good. If it wasn't for Onana, it could have been 5 or 6, if not more. I thought he was decent. I thought our only 2 okay performers, weirdly enough, was our 2 right back and our left back. We conceded 3 goals. The manager for me, let's start there, because you drop Rashford after scoring 3 goals in 2 games, and this week it drops Ahmad for no reason. He's had good performances. Played Garnacho, who was horrific, and my opinion on Garnacho hasn't changed. I don't think he gets better than he is. I think he's stale. He can't cross the ball. He can't pass. He can't finish. Every shot or cross he puts in, it gets blocked. And these things are obviously, a lot of it's down to the manager, but those individual qualities that all our players have, they don't seem to have them. But the patterns of play, there was nothing there. That first half when we had 11 men before Bruno got sent off, there was nothing. It was hideous.
I actually think Bruno Fernandes has done the manager a favour in that game getting sent off, because there's an excuse to get beat 3-0 at home when you've had a man sent off. Yeah. That game was going to be 3 or 4-0 regardless. We were better after he got sent off.
I agree, and we conceded 2 more goals. But you say it saved him, but when teams in the Premier League go down to 10 men, they defend. They don't let another goal in.
No.
We were shit. We didn't change anything. We didn't defend better as a unit. We threw on more midfielders. Because I don't know if the first half, there was I was saying to you as we were watching it, there was so much space. You have Xerxes and you have Bruno pressing, and there was so much space in between Bruno and the midfield and the midfield and the defence. At what point does the manager just get hold of Bruno and say, drop back, have 10 minutes of just holding the ball because we're getting battered here? Nothing. He wouldn't have changed anything in that first half. I don't get what goes through his head. I thought he would have changed. He's definitely seen a summer signing for us, someone that would fit straight into our squad. Do you think?
Timo Werner.
Oh my word, how bad is he? Can't finish, can't pass, and he's on the end of a 3-0 win against United away from home.
He's a Man United player in the waiting, isn't he?
He's an Erik Ten Hag player.
Yeah. I think people have been scared to say it for a while. I think people have been hurt in the past by the sackings of managers and felt like we shouldn't be a sacking club. But I think that all has now worked in the favour of Erik Ten Hag, and to the misfortune of Man United, the fact that we are now backing a manager that we shouldn't be backing. We've backed the wrong one.
I agree. I'm with you. Like I said at the start of the season, give him till January. But when you've played Fulham, Palace, Liverpool, Tottenham, and is that everyone? I'm missing
Liverpool.
I said Liverpool. So
sorry.
Fulham first, and then we had Southampton, Palace, Liverpool, and Spurs, and we've come away with 4 points.
Yeah, 7 points in total now, isn't it?
Minus 3 goal difference.
Yeah, I think it's as obvious as that. I think a lot of the problems that there's a lot of quality issues, but I think that maybe turns around once you've got players who are playing with confidence. As it stands, the manager is the one person who's in the way of this side ever being a competent side, let alone a side that can compete for top 4 or even a Premier League title. And again, I'll go back to it last week. I said, why are we being laughed at for wanting to challenge for the league? Not that we should be, based off what we've got, but why shouldn't we be? We are a side that should be challenging for the title every season. It's not about lack of money. We've pumped money into this. It's not about not backing your manager. We've backed our manager. The person who is responsible for this is the manager, and that is why we can compete for a title and why we get laughed at for trying to win a title.
I do agree with devil's advocate here, and I want Erik gone now. I'd have Ollie until we can find a replacement, because Ollie with these players, if we play the football that we had for that first season under Ollie, will do well. But I was going off tangent now. Let me think.
I think I think the manager has got a responsibility to step down and to realise that
embarrassing himself.
It's gone too far.
But that's what I was going to say. That the sacking of managers, we've done it before. We've had some good managers, Jose, for example, and they failed. Won trophies, but they can't get us anywhere in the league. So what do we do? Because we had this discussion last week. There's no one we can go out that's going to.
Why can Enzo Maresca can walk into Chelsea first season, 7 games in, 8 games in, and turn them into a potentially title challenging side? Why can Arne Slot do exactly the same first season at Liverpool and turn them into a title challenging side? Why can Mikel Arteta come into Arsenal and turn them into a title challenging side? Why have we got stuck with this, oh yeah, but you're miles off it? Arsenal were miles off it. Liverpool had just gone through a transition. Why are they exempt from the transition?
I do think
Chelsea, mate.
I agree with what you're saying. Honestly, like, we can obviously hold out on that because we're not sure what's going to happen with him. But I do think it's down to the players. Our front three is the worst front three in the Premier League. It's the worst front three. And they've done it to every manager. Garnacho, obviously, a bit unfortunate because he's young. Unfortunately, I think he needs to move on for his career, not because I want him to go. He's stagnating. I don't think he's going to get better, but I think if he moves to a different club, he might have a chance. Rashford, how many chances are we giving that guy? How many chances? He's destroying managers. We've got no striker. Højlund, for me, I don't think he's ever going to be a prolific number 9. Xerxes playing out of position. Diallo's getting dropped for no reason. Garnacho has been poor, but still gets a game. That front three of Bruno has just been horrendous this season.
Yeah,
these players are constantly getting the manager to sack. We don't change them. These players need to go. We've obviously changed a lot at the back. We'll hold off on Martinez because he's had a bad game, and we're in a bad mood. Games, so we'll let it go for a little bit. We'll give him a couple of games.
I will say this, and I said it to you during the game. What I am absolutely sick of is Manchester United players throwing in absolutely shocking late challenges in an attempt to show that they care. That is not how you show that you care. You think, oh, I chucked my foot in, therefore, and I got a yellow card, therefore I showed that I care about. That's bollocks.
Mason Mount's a prime
example. It means nothing. Mason Mount, come on. I said to you, that first challenge, get him off. Yeah. Get him off. Sick of it.
But he puts under more pressure than by being on a card. Unnecessary tackle. And like you said, it's to be, oh, look at me, I'm giving everything I can for the team.
Martinez does it every week.
It's got to stop.
It's got to stop. The yellow cards that you should be picking up as trying to break up play when we're getting counter-attacked on.
But they'll let those go.
Yeah.
Look at Van der Ven. He ran from the halfway line right through our team. Nobody attempted to stop him.
Anybody fancy putting your foot in there?
Fucking hell. Fuck me.
Priorities are wrong.
Spurs, however, were really good. Probably should have scored 6 or more if they had.
They're a good side, mate.
They are
They've got a good manager.
They're 2 or 3 players from being a top team, aren't they?
They've got a good manager.
Yeah, they're
it might be as simple as that, mate.
We aren't. So we've had a lot of in our TikTok. We've had a lot of arguments this week with United fans and Liverpool fans and everyone else. United are a big team and one of the biggest in the Premier League. We were getting a lot of abuse for it. United are the biggest team in the Premier League, and 2 reasons. You watched the end of the game. It was nothing about Tottenham winning 3-0. It was all about how shit United were. Nothing on Tottenham. United are the biggest team in the league for sure. Are we the best? No way. Are we top 5? Absolutely not. But we are the biggest team in the league, and anyone who thinks they're not either can't read and look at the question for what it is, or instantly, oh, I hate United, so they're not that big. They are the biggest team. And like I said, you watch it, it's all about United losing today, nothing about Tottenham. It's all it'll be. You'll hear nothing about Spurs getting a good 3 points at Old Trafford, regardless of how bad United were. To still go to Old Trafford, Liverpool you expect it from, City you expect it from, Spurs to come to Old Trafford and get a 3-0 win and probably be 5 or 6 with their best player out.
Yeah, and Ange was under pressure. Coming into this game, he had a lot of pressure on him, and a lot of the media have been talking about him. But he's come to Old Trafford and got 3 points and outclassed the person stood next to him. And how many times is that going to happen? I said to you when we went 1-0 down, the only positive about going 1-0 down is that Erik ten Hag can't do his defensive bullshit where he goes, "Oh, stay back and defend like your life depends on it," for a 1-0, and then we inevitably go and concede because we're not good enough. Like. That was the only thing I thought, do you know what, it's going to bring us out a bit and we've got to go and attack. No.
You did say earlier on, to be fair, and it made sense, the fact that he was battered and deflated from last season. Obviously, when he was at Ajax, they were a good attacking team. They pressed really high up the pitch and they were solid. He got battered last season and he's gone now defensive, but it's so far defensive that we can't attack and we can't defend.
He's done basically the equivalent of what Premier League teams do when they're right at the bottom, they're getting battered and they bring in Chris Wilder or Big Sam or Roy Hodgson to shore up the
Steve
team.
Bruce.
but Erik ten Hag is not doing that, but he's trying to do that.
The backroom staff have changed. Nothing's changing. In fact, we're getting worse.
It's as bad as it gets that today.
So our solution is get Ollie until we can find a decent replacement.
Get anyone in.
You say get anyone, but seriously, like,
who does worse? You? You don't do worse. You don't do worse than that. At Palace away, where everyone's bigging Ten Hag up, and I've had abuse all for the last 2 weeks about it. At Palace away, you would set that team up to go and try and win the game in the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes. He actively told them not to go and win that game. Sit back and defend. Yeah. I'm sick of it. 20 in midweek.
It was Diallo going defend, wasn't it?
Owen Hargreaves is sat behind the dugout and he can overhear Garnacho having instructions given to him to defend by Ten Hag at 1-0, and then we go and concede, and then we're on the back foot, and now we have to go and try and get a goal in the last 10 minutes. It's not good enough. Go and kill games. Ange kills games.
I tell you what, changing the system and changing the team every single week is not helping.
No,
I can't remember the last time we had the same team. Rotate against FC20, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
not in your Premier League. The Premier League's your bread and butter.
Absolutely. The Rashford against Palace didn't make sense. The Diallo dropping today didn't make sense. You've started Agate in the centre of midfield. Casemiro came on and was the best player on the pitch for us by a mile.
Casemiro is suffering because of the manager. Yeah. I would say Garnacho's suffering because of the manager. I would say Diallo's suffering because of the manager. I would say you're pretty much whole back four is suffering because of the manager. It's obvious. Everyone can see it if you want to admit it or not. My timeline and my TikTok and my social media is full of Ten Hag in. Give him a chance. It's these players. It's the players' fault. Start opening your eyes. It's obvious.
We all know what he's going to come out and say in his interview. We need to try harder. The red card didn't help. We'll put it right next week. Bullshit. We're sick of hearing it now. It's the same story every week. And I'm same with you. I'm not for sacking managers, but I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know how he turns it around.
He doesn't.
And the thing is with these players, I do agree with some of the people online. These players are costing them, like Rashford. They're throwing their toys out the pram. They do cost the players money. But you could see they weren't playing for the manager today. And while watching the game, you could see we're a team of individuals, but an individual quality level of fucking shite because they don't work for the team. They don't make movement. They don't ask to receive the ball to play it off to give that player a better chance. It's a case of I'll hold the ball. I'll stand while they're on the ball. I'm going to stand still. Hopefully you can pick me out and I'll try and do something. There's no game plan to anything we do.
It's all can we get a lucky break?
That's it. No goals, by the way, in 2 games.
If we don't get a lucky break, we lose.
Our best chance today.
Garnacho hit the post.
Centre back.
Yeah.
Direct. The second half, a striker probably would have put that in. Probably the best chance we had.
Yeah.
How embarrassing is that? And Palace.
How much more do we have to say? And I don't want to be sat here being proved right, but I've said it from the start of the season. I said it last season. We have got to change the manager. It is as obvious as it comes. We are the only club in Britain that would stick by a manager after these results based off the club's expectations.
Now, do you think?
What is that about?
Do you think up top they'll be looking at a new manager and being like, look, we won't sack him just yet. We'll hold off until we can find someone better. But they're making everyone suffer. Did you see how many United fans at the end of the game after Whistle gone just sat there in the empty stadium, just sat there like, what the fuck?
Dejected, mate.
Paid 60 quid to come here and watch this, and we are horrendous. Like, at what point do they go, look, we're better off with the interim, let's get him gone and we'll find someone else?
The question you've got to ask yourself at this point is, how can it be worse? It can't be. No. There's no worse. The 20 game, not a single Premier League side loses that game. So to get a point out of that is embarrassing. We've got Porto next, and we've also got
West Ham away.
Villa,
then West Ham, isn't it? Villa away.
But then we'll get turned over. We'll get turned over. Porto are a terrible side, by the way. I've watched them. Not good. They're not a good side. They got beat in the first game as well in the Europa League. Is it
3-2 by Glint?
Yeah.
3-2.
They're a nothing side. So if we go and beat Porto, big side, it will look like we've done something. We haven't done anything.
We're not even in the top half of the Premier League after 6 games, and we've played 2 big teams and 3 teams. Well, Fulham are solid. You don't imagine Palace are going to finish in the top half, and Southampton definitely aren't.
Southampton was a gimme.
Yeah.
The
say
game
gimme. If they put that penalty away,
yeah,
we'd have
exactly.
been beat.
The game turned on that penalty, and we were lucky. They got a man sent off.
How do we turn this anger into a bit of positivity? There's got to be something.
I said to you during the game, there is not a single positive I can take from this game.
Fans were good.
Fans at Old Trafford are always going to be good. We'll always get behind them. But at what point do you actually think a positive reaction would be booing the manager I've never been in support for that sort of stuff. I've hated it when watching Chelsea do it against Benitez, I remember Blackburn, Steve Keane, the abuse some of these managers got in the Premier League.
Steve Bruce at Newcastle.
Yeah, and saying to get this manager gone, get this manager gone. I've never been in support of that. But we are living in, to coin a Roy Keane phrase, cuckoo land. Cuckoo land. What are we thinking? This is not a good enough manager for this club.
No, I agree.
And that is, do you know what? That's the last time I'll say it. I'm not saying it anymore. It's obvious. I'm not saying it anymore.
That's he's gone.
That's it. He's gone.
If he's not and he's still there for Potter next week, we're back to the same situation. We'll want United to win, and we'll still be at the end of the game. Like,
it's not even at the point where we can say, I hope I get proved wrong. It's factual. I'm not going to get proved wrong.
I agree.
I'm not going to get proved wrong. Erik ten Hag is not going to finish in the top 4. He's not going to have a title challenge. He's not going to turn this around. He might win a trophy we would have to be, some sort of luck to win a trophy this season. But even if he does, and Man United are languishing in 8th, 9th, 10th, it's not good enough. A trophy and 8th is not good enough for Manchester United. As much as you want to gloss over, we had a good performance against Liverpool. We were lucky. We had a good performance and we got to the final because we scraped past Coventry. He's one good performance against Man City in the FA Cup final, and you've got to give it to him. It was a fantastic technical display from a manager who set up absolutely bang on, but he goes away from it in the next game. That's as much as I can say.
How much do we miss Varane at the back?
I just think we missed. How much do we miss a manager who could manage the team?
Can we get on to Mason Mount? So Mace at Chelsea, we loved him for England. A lot of fans are hit or miss with Mace. I've
always been a big
I loved
fan.
it. Yeah, we both have.
Yeah.
Come to United again. Obviously, he's going to suffer under this manager. I don't see him having a United career personally.
Don't think no.
But this team are so poor. When you see players who have quality like a Bruno Guimaraes, who'll be under pressure, he'll find a pass. Maybe it's over the top of someone, but he'll get it to someone's feet. With players like Eriksen and Mount, it's a case of a lob ball and hope for the best. There's no intricate passing to feet. It's all a bit of luck and hope it comes off. I'll hit this hard and hope Garnacho can get onto it. Obviously, Van der Ven smashed in one. There's no accuracy with that pass. It's hitting long down the line and hoping something. I don't see Mason Mount having a United career, and I'm gutted to say that. I think it's another player that we've bought and spent a lot of money on. And then you also look at Sancho going to Chelsea and he's having the best time. Is it the players or is it Man United?
It's Man United.
Because Sancho's obviously didn't perform for us. Mount's not performing at all, and I don't see him ever changing that. Fred's doing really well over in Turkey.
Yeah, every player comes to Man United, has a nightmare, goes abroad, does well.
Alanga, but we're just a cancer.
A lot of these players aren't good enough to play for Man United, but then really when you look at it, United are an 8th place team, a 7th place team, a 6th place team, so maybe they are good enough to play for us. And we're just shipping them on. Scott McTominay was a mistake, and I'll never forgive the manager for letting him go.
I'm not so sure on Scott, but red card, absolutely shocking.
Not a red
Kavanagh
card.
It's United.
It's not a red card.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Bruno Fernandes has
been on
got
that pitch.
so much responsibility to take for that, but it's not a red card. Again, it goes back to the Trossard one the other week against City. Do not give a referee a chance to send you off. You've given him a chance to send him off. Yes, he's slipped. He's put his foot out. It's not a red card.
I'm not having the ref. The Chris Kavanagh for United is shit. Anthony Taylor for United is shit. They're shit refs. I'm not having the ref. We've got VAR in place. How can they not see, he's made a bit of a mistake there? Just go and double check this, Chris. Just make sure you're happy with this red card. Go and have a look at the screen and just make your decision correct.
Last season that's turned over though.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. You go to that screen, it's going to get turned over. It doesn't have to be, you've made a mistake there. Just go and check it. When it's in play and it's quick, you can understand it. It looks quick, it's high, he's brought him down. You go over and watch that screen. He's hit him with the side of his foot. Nowhere near the studs.
It's on his
The yellow card. Yeah.
I think it's the side of his foot on impacting the shin.
VAR.
We're listening.
Pointless.
I mean, we're watching behind as we're recording. Bruno Fernandes come out and speak, and obviously, props to him for coming out and speaking. But he's got to. He's the Man United captain. But there's no doubt he will be saying that he doesn't think it's a red card. There's no doubt that they will be saying that, it's cost us the game. No. You've got to look at
We'd have lost that game with 12 men.
There was something I did want to bring up, and I was hoping that it was going to be off the back of a positive performance today, but it is a negative, and it's a negative point. But I just don't think it is ever acceptable for a Manchester United player, a senior Manchester United player, to come out and say that the team didn't want it. And Christian Eriksen did that midweek against Twente. You know my feelings on Christian Eriksen. I thought it was a disgraceful interview. Whether you believe that or not, don't say it. If it is true, what a disgrace this Man United side is.
People are paying money to go and watch their team who they love and support and give everything to.
You don't want it. You don't want it enough.
How the fuck can you not want that?
You play for Man United.
Fucking hell.
Absolute disgrace. And Christian Eriksen wants to walk for that. Absolute disgrace.
Do you reckon that's why he's dropped today?
No, because he come on. The manager likes it. No. There's personalities that I really don't like in this Man United side, and that's a worry as well. I really don't like them, and we can defend them as much as I guarantee we'll put this video up, and I've had it for the last couple of weeks where I'll put a video up about Man United and I'll tell my opinions, and I get slated. I mean, I'm getting slated for my opinions and saying Ten Hag's not good enough. I'm not happy with the manager, the way we're setting up. I'm not happy with Eriksen. I get slated for it because these United fans are all over on their keyboards telling me that you're wrong. He just give him time. Oh my God, honestly, people saying you shouldn't support this club if you're not going to support the manager. I'm sorry.
Support the manager. We watch every fucking game. We'll go to every game we can possibly go to.
It's not about supporting
the manager.
Yeah. I'm being realistic.
Obviously, we want the manager to do well. We just know he's out of his depth. You know that.
Miles out.
You know, you play. It's like when you play football 11-a-side on a Sunday, and you've got some good players with you. You've got that one guy who they stick centre back because he's shit. You're not wanting him to be shit.
No, you want him to do well.
Yeah,
and if he scores or does something well, everyone's like, well done, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But if he went at the end of the game, you've been beat 3-0, he's cost you 3 goals. You're like, oh mate, you had a fucking shit game today. Why should he be escaping criticism because some fan goes, well, you're not a United fan if you give our manager criticism? Bullshit.
So you're not allowed to criticise anything about Man United, otherwise you're not a real fan.
And my favourite one is, nice Manchester accent, boys.
Oh my God!
Lived in Manchester for 10 years, but nice accent.
The whole thing with the Manc accent is the thing I think it is social media. Obviously, it's a really great tool to just nail someone. If you disagree with their opinion, but you can't argue with it because you're actually wrong, you can just go after their accent, the way they look, or things like that. So people will go after the way you look, your accent, whatever it might be. The thing is, what you do is if you take Manchester United as an organisation, as a club, and you take every single fan away who's not from Manchester, guess what happens? Manchester United. So what? Do you want your club to be massive and compete? Or do you want only Manchester-born fans? Just because I've supported no one else. No. United were the first game I went to. My dad took me to Old Trafford. And from that point, how am I supposed to support anyone else? Or you'll go for, Jamie Carragher, massive Liverpool fan. He's an Everton fan growing up. Yeah. Yes, he played for the club, but at the same time, are you more of a fan? I've never supported anyone else.
No, and it goes to like all my family are Man City fans, every single one of them. Every single one of my family. So I get nothing but abuse. If United get beat, you're putting that on the podcast tonight. Now, let me tell you something. If you're listening or watching this, if you think I'm choosing to be a United fan because it's good, you're a fucking moron because I've had just as many bad years as I've had good. So this isn't a case of going, I kind of like this team. No, diehard fans. Grew up supporting Man United. Everything was about Man United for me. As many games as possible. Same with me. First game I ever went to, United game, my dad took me, and it makes it worse because he wore a Man City badge while I sat in the crowd, which I thought was disrespectful. And when even worse, we drew 0-0 with Spurs of all fucking teams. So it isn't a case of, you're not from Manchester, you can't support United. You've grown up and you've grown into supporting a football team, and you don't just change it because things are bad. Yeah. If United get relegated to Division 2, I would still be a United fan. I wouldn't change.
This is also it. Like my first season that I remember of United, Arsenal won the league.
Fucking hate
that's my first memory of Man United. Arsenal won the league. So since I was 6 years old, I've been supporting this team, and then every chance you get, as we always have, every chance we get, like coming back at fucking 5 o'clock in the morning when we've got work the next day to go and watch United play in a Tuesday night game. what does it matter where you're from? If you support that side, you show up, you support the club in terms of financially, you'll buy stuff, you've got a son who you're going to buy everything Man United. What does it matter where you're from?
That's a very valid point. My son's 11, and he's a big United fan. We took him to Community Shield at the start of the
Wembley
season.
at the start.
That poor bastard's got to endure this for
Look what
God
you've
knows how
done
many
to him.
years. Hey, exactly. It's not. He's got no choice. He doesn't. We didn't come out the fucking womb going, "I'm a United fan," buzzing. No, he says United because I'm a United fan. I know he's got to suffer. But how dare you have an opinion because you were born nowhere near Manchester?
Yeah, it's a weak argument from people who maybe big football fans and maybe knowledgeable about football, but they're not intelligent people. I've watched the people, they're big TikTok creators. A lot of them big TikTok creators are the ones who are coming at. There's a guy called Dill's Football Ramble. He's a United fan, and he came out saying, "What's it matter where you're from?" and everything. I completely agree with him. But it's the people who think they're more intelligent than they are coming back at him saying, "No, you're way off with this. You should only go and support your local side." So let's really narrow it down then, guys, because I guarantee there's a Sunday League club that plays just where you live.
Yeah.
You supporting them, or you supporting Accrington Stanley?
Or Hereford FC.
You want to sit there. You want to sit there and say and pretend like you're this virtuous person. I follow Morecambe home and away. Well, there's probably a club that needs your support right down the road. Do you support them? No, you support Morecambe because they're a professional club.
It's not because he was born
So
there.
at what point do we make the differentiate?
100%. It's not because you're born there. They don't wake up and go, "Oh, I'm going to be a Morecambe fan." You do it because your family do. Your dad tells you to do it. You don't have a choice in it. Same for those people who give it the big one, or I'm Morecambe home and away. Yeah, but you weren't born going, "Do you know what? I'm going to support Morecambe today." That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You're born, your family support them. Yeah. You could be born in Morecambe and support Accrington Stanley. It doesn't matter. You go where your family goes. That's where you.
And it's only United fans that get tarred with this brush.
Liverpool
as well.
If you're not Scouser, not a big fan of it.
I'll tell you something about Liverpool fans as well. And I know this for a fact, but Liverpool fans from all around the world come to Anfield to experience that atmosphere. They love it. It's their dream to come over to Liverpool and watch a game. When they get over there, their fellow supporters think that they don't belong there and shouldn't be there and start giving them abuse.
What are they called?
We know that Wolves.
Wolves.
We know that for a fact. So fans from around the world who prop up your club, who allow you to go and buy the players that you want to buy, you're then going to have them in Anfield and give them abuse for being there and say that they shouldn't be there.
And want to be classed as the biggest club in
It's a
England.
disgrace, mate.
Shit fan bases.
It's a disgrace.
Shit fan
Just
bases.
because you're from Asia, you can't support Man United, you can't support Liverpool. Not having it.
However, it was nothing more frustrating when you go and watch the United game. I bought once. I had tickets in hospitality for Liverpool when Lallana equalised in like the 86th minute, and we drew. And I was sat around with a load of Chinese, and they were just on their phones. They weren't celebrating. I didn't enjoy
Hospitality's
it. And
mad
family
for
stand.
that, innit?
One of the lads, Jack, he's got a cup season ticket, and he went to the Barnsley game, and he said he sat in the family stand. That's where his ticket is. He goes, "It's the worst atmosphere I've ever been in."
I'll never see hospitality ever again.
No, never again. Oh, you did it. What game? Oh,
Sevilla.
Yeah, we went to Sevilla. And
I'm fuming.
How did that work? I got a guy to get a ticket, and we did heads or tails for it, and he got hospitality, and I got a shit, so he got a free pint.
Yeah, but
and it was the worst game we've ever been to.
I sat that against Sevilla. It was one of Jose's last games, and I remember going into hospitality, and I was furious because the fans around me, I'm not asking everyone to sing and whatever, but it's the ones that are sat there, phone up like this. They are not looking at the game once. They're like this. The game's going to be on TV, lads. If you want to record it, it's readily available. You've come all this way. Watch the game.
Enjoy the game. Enjoy the atmosphere. Listen to it.
Yeah, but again, I don't care. You've come.
I wouldn't want them in the ground.
Why
have your section? You sit in your hospitality.
Tell me one of the greatest signings in Premier League history. Tell me a current one.
Well, anyone. Robin van Persie.
Robin van Persie. How can we afford Robin van Persie? Because fans from all over the world have supported this club. I do not care where you are from.
Commercial deals.
If you support Manchester United, you can be from wherever you want.
And prime example of that, you see commercial deals. You've got big companies who want to sponsor football teams because they're big teams, because they're followed by more people. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a bullshit argument, and this is what I go down to intelligence. So you've got a lot of people who know their shit about football, and a lot of big TikTok creators and content creators who will rightly argue that you should support your local team to a certain extent, but they're not doing it themselves. You support Aston Villa, congratulations. I guarantee that's not the most local team that you support unless you live outside of Villa Park. Yeah. Unless that's the case, you've got no ground to stand on. If you are from the city, I understand that, but then you're gonna absolutely tear apart fans from all over the world for supporting the same club that you want to do well and compete, who is going to prop up your club financially.
It's just
it's
contradiction.
dim.
Yeah,
it's dim,
dim.
mate. It's dim. Yeah. I suppose that's the only thing I can come away with from today. Your fans all turn up in their numbers. They will do every single week for Manchester United. No matter how average the performance is, no matter how depressing it is, we will turn up and we'll be brilliant.
I mean, let's just touch base on it while we're talking about the fans. Obviously, the fans were really good today. You could hear them; they were brilliant. However, towards the end of the game, the stadium was empty. But people have travelled hundreds and hundreds of miles, paid hundreds and hundreds of pounds for tickets, taken their family, wasted a whole weekend looking forward to the game. I don't agree with leaving early. It's frustrating, but if you've driven down from Devon and you've driven all the way up there to watch Man United 3-0 down in like the 80th minute, I don't blame him for pissing off early and going home. I don't think you should, but I
understand if you go to the pub for a pint. If you're leaving early to get home early, Old Trafford, you're not getting home early.
Don't matter. No point leaving.
You're already in there.
Yeah.
You might as well just deal with it. It's the same as Wembley. Unless you leave 25 minutes early,
terrible,
you're not getting out and within probably the first 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
So
we parked. Where did we park for? Miles away,
For
and
the
it still
Community
took me
Shield,
3
miles
hours
away.
to get out of London.
Mm-hmm.
It's well, that's kind of made us feel a little bit better, isn't it? Because that game was tough. So I feel a little bit-
we'll go again and we'll try and be positive. But that is, like I said, that is the last time I talk about Erik ten Hag as someone who's right for the club. And I'm not going to call for his sack, and I'm not going to abuse him or anything like that. I think that's weak.
No, of course not. And like I said, let's make this very, very clear when we say about players like Rashford, manager Erik ten Hag, they piss us off and they're not good enough for the club. By all means, we want them to be. We want them to be better players, better managers. We want to be successful. But you can see it clear as day with certain things. Like Rashford's been given so many opportunities through the years. It's not happening for him. Ten Hag's been given 3 years. Okay, he's won a couple of trophies, but these performances, they're just not good enough. Getting it out of these players, the way we're setting up the substitutions. You can see as a normal fan who watches football and enjoys it, the things that are going wrong. So how can't he? So again, we don't want them to fail, but it's getting to a point now where time to move on. Thank you for your service. You've won 2 trophies for us, which is mental because we hadn't been very good before that. Yeah. So to win 2 trophies, you'll be known for winning 2 trophies, beating Liverpool and Man City on the way to the final. Phenomenal. That's going to be talked about forever.
Oh, those memories will stay with me forever. But
end on a good term.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. That's where he should be going. Look, guys, it's not working for me. Time to move on. Mm-hmm. I hate it when player managers. That's why I've got admiration for Steve Bruce. I've never been a big fan of his management, but have you seen the interview with him about leaving Newcastle? Didn't want to leave Newcastle. Loves Newcastle as a club. Newcastle fan. Yeah, absolutely. Was Geordie, innit? Mm. And he said to the owners, "Look, what do you need for us to make you successful?" And he turned around and said, "Look, you're going to be successful, but it's not going to be with me." And he took it upon himself to leave.
Yeah,
that's admiration. That you can't. That's a lot. Imagine walking away from being the manager of Newcastle because you think I'm not good enough. That's cool. That's cool. Maybe a bit more of that from Erik, and his legacy will still be. He did well for us. Won us 2 trophies. Mm. But yeah, that's enough on Ten Hag. I haven't done them yet, but we will go into weekend treble.
Weekend treble, let's do it. Okay, so last week, for people following the weekend treble, essentially it is me versus Vince. One of us has to pay for the other a full trip, last game of the season, and the loser has to stand outside the players' entrance and try and get as many pictures with the players as possible after slating them all season. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Currently, I am leading. I won my first week against you. Last week was a tough one. I got let down by one team. I had Liverpool to score twice. They did. I had Barca to score twice. They did. I had Man City to score twice. They only scored 1. Massive letdown. City of all teams as well. So I'm still 20 quid up, I think. This week, I've gone a little bit more out there. A little bit higher in terms of the returns. It's £32 returns. This is an exclusive because I haven't recorded my podcast yet this week, so you're getting it first on This Is United. The first pick is Brentford versus Wolves over 1.5 goals.
Like it.
Inter versus Torino over 2.5 goals. Rennes versus Monaco over 2.5 goals. £10 on returns you £32.57. If that comes in, that takes me into a £50 lead. You got to be worried at that point.
Yeah, a little bit worried. I had a bad start. I had West Brom will draw, which was the most frustrating one for me because I texted Alex during the game. So West Brom went 2-0 down against Sheffield Wednesday. Of course they would, who haven't won a game yet. And West Brom are flying this season. I think it's something along those lines.
West Brom were top, I think.
Yeah, West Brom were top. West Brom hadn't lost a game so far this season. Sorry, get it correct. And West Brom went 2-0 down, got it back to 2-2. And I was like, buzzing. I seen City was still drawing 1-1 at that point. And 100 seconds later, West Brom concede. So no worries. But then, of course, me being me and Alex being Alex, I was like, there's no way City aren't going to score. Alex is going to win this. And they didn't. So that felt good. But that was a kick in the teeth. West Brom cost me straight out the blocks. And
You had Palace as well.
Palace will draw. Went 1-0 up again. You did.
Said,
however,
fancy
Everton Leeds away for fun.
Yes, but I feel like it was the right time for Everton to turn around and put a performance in, especially at home against Palace. I think Palace are there for the taking for a lot of teams this season. I didn't expect it. I thought they were going to be really good this season. They can get beat. And Everton, it was the perfect storm. Dwight McNeil scored an absolute...
He's a good
what
player.
A goal
He's
that was.
a good player. He's really good.
And what was the last selection you had?
PSV and over 1.5. And that came in. Yeah,
okay.
that came in.
So you're hoping a change in fortune. Who have you gone for this week?
I haven't done mine yet. I was going to pause it, but you went straight in.
Wow, okay. In that case, why don't you...
Research it, right?
No, why don't you put it just here? It's there. Those are your selections.
Easy.
Wow, I wouldn't have gone for them.
Yeah.
Them, I understand. Definitely wouldn't have gone for them.
Back it with a tenner.
Back it with a tenner. Wow. Okay, I should probably wrap the show up.
I think so.
I think I've had my say. I think you've had your say. I don't think there's anything more that's going to come out of our mouths that's going to be anywhere near positive.
Well, I think this whole podcast has been positive, to be honest.
It's negative, and it's negative
It's
every
horrible.
week.
We don't want it to be like that. We love you. Like, we're talking about the thing that's probably the most prominent thing in our lives. We love it more than anything. We look forward to the games. We plan our weekends around when Man United are playing. I'll call it sick if I have to, if you're not anyone. I'm not asked.
I would do anything for Man United, and I am sick of seeing these players not do everything for the fans. That's a way to wrap it up, isn't it?
So, we way to wrap it up, yeah? So we will be back next Thursday and every Thursday for the rest of the season.
Yeah, where can we find you on TikTok?
I will be on TikTok as Vince Goalpost and Twitter.
And I am Alex Goalpost on Twitter and on TikTok as well. Do you know what, actually? If you want to get involved in some of the debates, go ahead to one of our TikTok pages, because this week I can imagine we're going to get a lot of abuse.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I've had a lot this week, but do you know what? It actually fills me a little bit of pleasure where I can go back at people.
Oh,
go on.
There was one lad, I wanted to get his name on TikTok because he was going to have it. We had a good little battle back and forth, and he's one of them ones. Oh, have you got eyes? Have you watched the game? Right. And he was like, yeah, just trust the process. I can see positives from the last couple of games. And I said to him, how are you going to be about the positives when we get beat 3-0 by Spurs? And I can't wait to see his reaction. Let's see what he's got to say for himself.
Mate, these aren't people with brains. They're NPCs. They're not even real, some of them. Yeah. Okay.
But thank you for listening.
Okay,
it's been a tough one.
Yeah, it's been a tough one.
On to next week.
Yeah, let's actually try and give some United fans some positivity going forward. Next time, even if we get beat, we're going to be positive. We're going to give you life, and we're going to give you laughs.
United.
The cold for crumbling and